got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang watching top of the flare. Movie and TV show reviews that you need. Film threads on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film thread, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan break the mold. Pop your corn, turn down the lights. Get ready to groove through movie nights. Film thread, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Film Threats Hollywood on the Rocks. And Alan is here somewhere. And the music's too loud. And we have tons of stories today. Tons of reveals. The real underbelly of Comic-Con. Something I just learned about Comic-Con, and I've been going there for decades. And you will be shocked. Shocked. Plus your comments, questions. We have Alan went to the George Lucas panel. He has a full report. Let's get to it. Let's start the show. I'm excited. It's a Wednesday, and I'm coffeeed up. So let's go. Yeah, I know. I know he's here somewhere.
Hello, Mr. Gore, Mr. Ng. My name is Caesar. I just wanted to let you gentlemen know a bit about me and my simian friends. We never miss an episode of Hollywood on the Rocks or Versus. These are our favorite shows. I have a message for everyone watching or listening. Like, share, and subscribe.
Well, you really need to get Alan here. Where someone has to say Alan, right?
Folks, how is everyone? I really don't have a major movie coming soon. However, I wanted to take this time to remind everyone to watch Film Threat Live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you. Love you all. God bless.
That's still not. It's wrong.
Hello, everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is A.I. Allen. And unless I have a malfunction, I will search for Alan. Alan? Alan. Alan.
I think it's that introduce yourself. I think that's better. That works. Cool. Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. I am I don't know what day or time it is. So
Well,
I wonder I got here on time.
It's Wednesday. There was no nooner today because Gary is traveling. But Hollywood on the Rocks is here.
Yeah. I did Comic-Con. I didn't think I was going all 4 days of Comic-Con, and
Well,
now my schedule's all mixed up.
yeah, like it took me about 2 days to recover. And when we got back, we went to that premiere on Monday.
Yeah.
With Gary and Drinker and my friend Alex, and it was a lot of fun. So this was basically what the last 5 days, the past weekend was like. My Pedro Pascal cosplay went over great. People loved it.
Yes. People wanted your picture at Comic-Con.
Yes, because of the cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, still didn't see a May or Osha cosplay, nor an Ironheart.
but I did see, you know what I saw? One of the coolest cosplays I saw was, you know, that episode of I Love Lucy where she's in the candy factory?
Yes.
And it's going too fast. These two women had this a thing they carried, and all it did was have them rotate around. And so they carried it, and the candies were just going around and around. It was really good.
I'm so sorry, Ethel. I will have to call you back later. Film Thread is on now.
Wow. We're loaded with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But let's see who's here, who's in the chat.
Yes.
So, here you go.
All right. From Napski, do y'all hear about Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson dating? Talk about hot gun. Am I right?
I did hear about that. If you know, Liam Neeson's wife died tragically.
Yes.
And he's been single for, God, I think over a decade. Mm-hmm. And so now they're dating from the movie, and that's great. I hear they've got great chemistry. I've spoken to people who've seen it. I've seen other reviews pop up. I am excited about that film. We'll talk about that on Friday, along with I have a whole comedy segment about comedy we will discuss Friday.
And you should probably take the opportunity to say part 2 of my interview with David Zucker is online.
Yes,
on
that's
the,
right. That's right, Alan.
Yes.
Oh man, I haven't watched it yet. I saw it went live, and we should let people know first that you and I survived the tsunami.
Yes, we did. I know you're closer to the ocean than I am.
Yes, well, yeah, but this is let me share a screen here so people are aware. Film Threat has 2 other sister channels. One is Film Threat Trailers. We showed trailers, and this one is Film Threat Interviews. This is our David Zucker interview that you did. It's part 2. It's a half hour. I can't wait. I will watch it. But we have a lot of other interviews with filmmakers. That's all it is. Filmmaker interviews, actors, producers. Just so sub to that channel and also the Film Threat Trailers channel.
Yeah, I mean the reason he did the interview partly was to promote his Master Crash course, which if you want to make comedies, if you want to know how he makes comedies, this coming Monday he's doing a 9-hour Zoom workshop, and it's interactive. So you're actually you'll be talking to him. He'll be going over his 12 rules of comedy, and you're going to be able to ask questions.
Great.
Yeah. From Ulf 42.
That's Oliver Levert. Yeah, Oliver.
Okay.
Apologies. It's Levert.
Yeah, and great to meet you at Comic-Con.
Yeah, it was great to meet you and hang out. I'm glad you came, trusted me, and went to the Starship Smackdown panel at the end. That is always a fun way to end Comic-Con. Our friend Robert Meyer Burnett is on that panel. Oliver, it was great to hang out. Great to see you, and see you next year or at another con. Let us know.
Yeah,
that was great.
You didn't want to read the message? You just wanted to...
Oh, shoot. I didn't read the message.
No.
Do
we have it?
Oliver, I'm so sorry.
Well, part of it was, great meeting us. I think that was great meeting.
It was great meeting you. He didn't mention me. So what can I say?
All right, Grizzly Nightmare for $4.99. I am rewatching the OG Lost in Space series, and wow, I forgot how much of a dick Dr. Smith was. Yeah.
And I don't know. He might have been Dr. Smith. Who will, my dear boy?
Oh, the pain.
Oh, the pain. I think Dr. Smith might have had a little too much. It was maybe too much into Will. I won't go further. I'll just say maybe, he was such a dick.
I'll just say that Dr. Smith and Will were basically Shaggy and Scooby.
Right.
Especially their role on the show. Hey, Oliver. It was great meeting you both at Comic-Con over the weekend. I hope you had a good time. Had a blast at your Indie Filmmaker Survival Guide panel.
Yeah, if you want to, we posted the whole video. The audio's not great, but there were a great group there. I was there's a funny thing that happens at the end, but you'll have to watch it.
Mm-hmm. All right, CD Stein 69. Hey, Chris, Alan, and the rest of you beautiful drunks in the Film Threat chat.
Hello.
And Christopher Moonlight Productions. Good afternoon, Film Threat Nation. I love San Diego. I love comic books. I love Comic-Con. But who else is tired of the Hollywood BS machine taking up all the air in the room? Am I just cranky?
I hear you. I think it's kind of where you look. Yes, it might seem that way, that they get all the attention because of the big announcements and trailer drops. But if you look they still have Artist Alley, still have individual artists selling their wares. They still have great panels there that are non-Hollywood or non-corporate. So, Chris, you got to just look other places. Yeah. So, hey, we have a lot of news today. So let's get to it. Before we get to that, a trailer just dropped that we'll look at. Alan, you're a big Zootopia fan.
Yes, I was for the first one.
Yeah,
I like the first one.
I like the first one. I like the whole DMV joke.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great.
Yeah,
The joke about the DMV. The trailer for Zootopia 2, I'm not sure we need this movie, but we're going to watch it right now.
Disney needs that movie.
Disney needs this movie to be a hit. So let's take a look at it, and then we'll react on the other side. Here we go.
Welcome to Partners in Crisis. I'm your therapy animal, Dr. Fuzzbee. Greg, we talked about that. What are we making Merlin? Uncomfortable. Yes. And Francine, Clark may be a mouse, but he is your partner first. And we have 2 new partners. Can you tell us about your journey to Dysfunction Junction?
Well, we've been official partners for 1 week. Happy anniversary. And we are functioning fine, better than fine. And we did sort of save the city. So us being here kind of seems like a huge misunderstanding.
Notice how she answered first, did not allow her partner to speak, but when she's suppressing discomfort. And observe the source of her discomfort, represented by the disconnected
Quick thing I have to mention.
Yeah.
How many movies these days, cartoons, films, indie movies, TV shows, mention therapy?
Mm-hmm.
This is like
Yeah.
a kind of alarming amount mention therapy, mental illness.
Right.
It was a part of a superhero movie this year, Thunderbolts. I'm concerned it might be from the people making these movies. It
implicitly says that all children are broken and need to be fixed, and don't go to your parents.
Right. Let's keep watching this, but I just have concerns. This is so prevalent, along with forehead butting instead of kissing. Like when you see a trend over and over and over and over, something's going on. Okay, we'll finish it here.
expectation of her emotionally insecure partner.
Oh.
But for now, we begin by greeting our teammate. Okay, unfortunately, Karen has chosen to see Joel's smile as a sign of aggression. Hackles down, Karen. Karen, hackles down. Someone get the hose.
Bunny Fox. This is a make or break assignment. Fail and I will split you up.
No snake has set foot in Zootopia in forever.
Hops and Wild.
Wild and Hops. The dream team. Sorry, Paul.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a second ring right now. Stop in the name of the law. I'm really sorry. No. Stop pulling my ears. Stop pulling my ears. Never pull up Bunny's ears. I have to help my family. Cannonball!
You know, this is not your worst idea.
Wow, that was almost a compliment.
Your worst idea is what you did with your ears.
Alan,
Yeah.
you're the
I'm not-
biggest Disney fan I know. What do you think?
I'm not against what I've seen. I do like the fact that they told a good Karen joke, or at least
Right.
calling out Karens. I don't know, but do we need another misunderstood animal story movie?
I don't know. We're getting one. I like the first movie. I think it leaned a little too into identity politics via the animals, but it was still fun. It had a good message about prejudice.
Yeah.
I just didn't need to see another one. I don't see it as a franchise, but it just made way too much money for it to be ignored.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the animation?
It looked good. I mean, overall, look, at least they took all the best stuff from what they had and put it in the trailer. I didn't see anything that seemed wrong or bad. So maybe maybe they made it in Canada and that's why it's good.
It could be. We'll see. I'm reserving judgment. I saw a film last night, The Bad Guys 2.
Mm-hmm.
And but a snake is part of the team.
Yes.
But now we have snake racism in Zootopia.
Which is kind of what the first movie was. I'm pretty sure this movie is about the relationship between the rabbit and the fox, which
and
Nick
the mental
and Judy,
illness. Will they have a protest like ALM, Animals Lives Matters, or SLM, Snakes Lives Matter, or All Animal Lives Matter, AALM? Will that be a part of it, Alan? Your prediction?
I hope so. I hope it's backhanded woke.
Hey, Alan, I've got a couple things that I recently learned about San Diego Comic-Con. This has kind of shocked me to my core. I have 2 videos I'll play. Not going to play the whole thing, but 2 videos that relate to things you might not know about Comic-Con. This is actually, let me bring this up. It's a news report from CBS San Diego, and this was a safety warning issued right before Comic-Con. This ran a news report. I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to play it and then we will discuss it. It's a safety warning for people attending Comic-Con from CBS San Diego. Here we go.
That's often talked about around big events like the Super Bowl, the NCAA tournament, and of course, Comic-Con. And with more people pouring into the city of San Diego, vulnerabilities for exploitation are heightened. And that's why local leaders came together to put out a call to action.
I came out in full superhero fashion.
No, the man in the Batman mask is not Bruce Wayne.
Not all heroes wear capes, but all of these folks standing behind me today are heroes.
That's Shane Harris, the president of the People's Association of Justice Advocates. He says Comic-Con is a beloved event that brings plenty of fun and excitement to the city of San Diego.
But it also has been, in recent years, a hotbed of human and sex trafficking.
Last year, during Comic-Con, multiple law enforcement agencies led a massive human and sex trafficking sting operation that led to multiple arrests and even the recovery of a 16-year-old victim.
Alan, did you know anything about this?
Did I know anything?
I've been going to Comic-Con for decades. I was not aware. I feel I don't even know.
So how am I involved in this?
I'm not saying you're involved. I'm asking, did you know? And why didn't you tell me?
Okay, you were asking some weird questions.
All right, let me just watch let's watch the rest of this. I don't want to make light of this. I know. I think it's just because it happens. Shocked. I've been going to Comic-Con for decades, and there are a ton of kids that go. And young cosplayers. Let's watch the rest.
Human beings are not for sale.
Harris was joined by San Diego County District Attorney Summer Steffen to launch a public awareness call to action ahead of this weekend's event.
In San Diego County, sex trafficking was measured at an $810 million industry.
Okay, by the way, Comic-Con itself brings over $1 billion to the city. And while the contract, I think, is up with the city in 2027, rumors it'll move to Vegas, which would kill the con. I don't think it's moving. I think they'll figure out a settlement with that.
You either keep it in San Diego or end it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's watch the rest.
The average age of the victim is 15 and 16-year-olds.
There are many warning signs that experts say indicate that sex trafficking is occurring, such as a person seeming overly fearful or submissive, physical injuries, or an unaccompanied minor at night who may falter in giving an explanation on who they are with and what they're doing.
If you come to our city looking to do any act of sex or child or human trafficking, you are not allowed here, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
In California,
that's where we need like a real life Batman. I mean, that's just it's shocking to me.
Yeah, but it's it happens always at large gatherings like Comic-Con.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, like, this is maybe a warning, just for people who've never been to Comic-Con is over 100,000 people. And then the surrounding events is like another people. Look, if you don't have a badge, you can still enjoy Comic-Con if you did all the things outside of Comic-Con. I have a video related to that. But it's just a shocker here. So, yeah.
We're also San Diego's a border town as well, which only adds to the problem. Look, and it's not just adults who go to Comic-Con. It's kids and young teens. My first Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, I was 17 at the time, and I was by myself.
Wow, I know. I think about all the things I did when I was young. My mom would drop me off at the movies when I was 9 by myself. I'd buy a ticket to see Godzilla, and I was by myself in a theater. So, but I grew up in Michigan, the suburbs of Michigan.
Yeah,
I'm sure I was.
And I can guarantee you, my parents didn't know I drove off to San Diego to go to Comic-Con when I was 17.
There's a warning. Here's another one. My friend Jeff Tucker, he has his own YouTube channel called Tucker Time. Jeff is so awesome. He's an uber nerd. He wrote a book about his love of Back to the Future. Awesome book. Jeff Tucker is amazing. Subscribe to his channel, Tucker Time. He took his family to this Comic-Con Coke event. Now, I've talked about this before. We'll scrub through this. It's all the things, if you don't have a badge, you can't get in. There are all these things outside of Comic-Con. Well, he saw something with Coke and Star Wars and decided to go. Here's his little video about it.
All right. We are at Comic-Con in line for the Star Wars Coca-Cola Holo Creator starring you, which apparently is me, right? So we'll see what this is. This little tiny area has Wi-Fi so that you make a video in there and you can send the video. So we'll see how it works.
It's the Coca-Cola Presents Holo Creator starring you. One of the many outside things. There was a Alien, something with Rick and Morty, Adult
Predator.
Swim, Predator. It was just all over. There was stuff happening. Before TikTok, there was Leia. Scan the can, collect the galaxy. Before TikTok, there was Leia. Okay. The original hologram that launched 1,000 missions.
And then we'll stop the line.
They're going in box office. There's C-3PO. Okay. All right.
That's the carbonite code.
They waited an hour.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing, right? Right? So, taking us inside.
Oh, thank you.
Coke cans.
Look at that. I got a Coke of the Emperor.
You mean Ray's grandfather?
That's it. That's the whole experience. You wait to get in and you get a free can of Coke. Now, wait, he shows the thing. It's like a trailer. Okay. So This is just a warning that I see these people wait in line for hours. I did. I waited in line for one. I did the Old Spice. It was like an Old Spice Superman deodorant thing. So, but watch this.
Looking for Han Solo. Look at that. It's very red in here. Some helmets. Look at those cool helmets.
Crash Rooms for Galaxy.
I saw Austin and Rachel.
Everyone's got their phone out filming whatever the inside of this is. Yeah. All you get is a can of Coke. We're waiting for something to happen, but nothing will. Desperately searching
the Holo
for
Creator. What is the Holo Creator?
It's in the subtitles if you're listening. Stand to create your hologram transmission. Okay. What's supposed to happen? The people that work the place don't even know what they're doing. They're handing out cans of Coke and looking at people. Okay, there's photo op, I guess. I mean, Jeff's got a great family.
It's a galaxy of
Lovely
refreshment. Drink your Coke with the Emperor's back. Somehow in Coca-Cola form.
There's a curtain. What's behind the curtain?
Oh.
Has to be something cool behind the curtain.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Darth Vader's in here.
Look at that.
It's the statue like you get it sharper image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll do you and
You go
Dad
to
together.
Disneyland, you meet the real guy.
That's it. That's it.
That was an hour-long wait.
That was an hour wait to get a can of Coke. Why? Why? So I've been saying this for years. All those outside, like, things that you do, they really aren't that great. You wait in line to see a trailer for Abbott Elementary and get a keychain you'll sell at a yard sale or give to Goodwill in a year. I'm saying be careful about these outside events happening at Comic-Con. They're not all they're cracked up to be.
Yeah, by the way, those Coke cans, you can buy them at your supermarket right now.
Yes, you can do that. So
yeah. Well, my daughter, okay, so her thing was she wanted to show up early on Sunday so she could do the Percy Jackson thing out you know where it is, out in front of the Hard Rock.
Yeah, I saw it.
But she knew full well that she was going to stand in line for a couple hours and see a clip from Percy Jackson and get a water bottle. And we showed up. She learned the hard lesson of showing up early still means you're not going to get in.
Right.
And she was pretty upset about that.
Right. Well, look, I've been telling people for years, be careful about those things. They're not all they're cracked up to be. All right. Moving on. Kevin Feige blames Brave New World's flop on the absence of Chris Evans. Duh. I've got the story. Alan, you've got the notes.
Yeah, I've got it here.
Tell me all about it.
All right. Well, Captain America Brave New World was poised to usher in a new chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Sam Wilson at the helm. But according to Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, the film's biggest problem wasn't just its choppy story or last-minute rewrites. It was the absence of Chris Evans' Captain America. It was the first without Chris Evans, Feige said bluntly during a recent roundtable. While the studio had high hopes for Wilson's evolution from Falcon to full-fledged Captain America, the emotional weight just didn't land. Go figure. The film lacked what Feige seems to believe was a crucial ingredient, the charisma and legacy of Evan Steve Rogers, who last wielded the shield in Avengers Endgame. Though Steve passed the mantle to Sam years ago, Feige now suggests the gap in time, 6 years and a Disney Plus series later, may have diluted the moment's impact. Sam's rise was meant to be the defining moment, but instead Brave New World ended up relying too heavily on legacy without delivering the same emotional connection. The final battle between CGI-heavy brawl with Red Hulk didn't help, nor did the heavy reshoots and cut that removed key characters like Isaiah Bradley and Sabra from the conclusion. Ultimately, Feige's comments underscore how deeply Evans' portrayal of Captain America still anchors films, fan expectations, and it would be difficult to move forward without him. Duh.
File this under duh. I mean, give me like everyone been saying it. First of all, I think Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson is beloved. I really believe that. I think he is likable as an actor. He sort of maybe stepped in a few things, didn't quite mean to. I think there were controversies in the end. I like him as an actor, and I just think that he's not a lead. He's not a leading man. I saw a horror film about a year ago that he was the lead in. Did not impress me. God, I forgot it. It was kind of forgettable little horror movie, more like an episode of a TV show. It was, but I just don't think he has the stuff. And the chemistry between he and Chris Evans was part of that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Chris Evans had been an older Cap in the movie and kind of completed his story it could have been better. Maybe, maybe Sam Wilson had to step up and save Cap for once. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, I just, file this under duh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't just give Sam the shield and paint him red, white, and blue and say you're Captain America.
Yeah, I agree.
Captain for Steve Rogers, he earned the title of Captain America while Sam was given the title of Captain America. Those are two very different things. Steve Rogers in the first movie proved to the world that he embodied Captain America. And then you get the other movies where he is just an extension of that. And what Brave New World was another typical superhero film that didn't necessarily lean into anything that was Captain America.
No, for me, it felt like a Disney Plus series.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was. I mean, a lot of these side ventures should just be Disney Plus shows. I really, but the fact that he's saying this publicly is crazy. That's the thing. We all knew this. The fact that now Kevin Feige is admitting it, that's the news. That's the big, because it tells me that Marvel, or at least Kevin Feige, is learning. He's learned from his mistakes. I just think he was so deep with like 3 phases of crap, 4, 5, and 6, that I don't know that is he going to be able to turn it around in time?
Well, I mean, clearly he learned his lessons way too late.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. And this doesn't necessarily feel like an apology or an admission of, it was just, we tried something, didn't work. Move along.
Well, there will not be another Captain America movie with Anthony Mackie leading the way. That will not happen.
So Avengers Doomsday is not going to be.
Well, he'll be a part of it. And that's great. I think he's great as part of a team. He's a great sidekick, like in the comics.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ultimately ask the question of what is it about Falcon or the new Captain America that inspires you to want to follow him? That gives you trust that he knows, he knows how to win the day, how to get you out of things alive. Brave New World didn't prove any of that. It was just a typical superhero film.
I agree with you. I agree. All right. We're going to go to super chats and chat comments, but I have something else I want to show. I was unaware, and I should be aware of everything related to Batman. I met the director of Aztec Batman Clash of Empires at the Hilton Bayfront Bar. He seemed like a nice gentleman. Had a quick chat with him, and I haven't seen the trailer. I've seen people talk about it. I have not seen it. This will be my honest reaction to the trailer. And let me say, I met the director at Comic-Con. So do we want to see it, Alan?
Let's see it. If you met the director, it must be great.
I'm not saying that doesn't mean anything. That just means I met the director. It doesn't mean anything. But the trailer dropped.
I'm trying to hype up this video.
In theory, I'll say this before we watch this. In theory, I don't like this. And I'll tell you why after we watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I just in theory, but I haven't seen it. I'm not going to judge. Let's watch 2 minutes of your time. Here we go. Laughing at the way he looks is probably not the reaction that you would want, but here we go.
You can feel the weight of that? Okay.
He kills his dad. The colonizer killed his dad.
Hold on. That's Bruce Wayne.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean,
there's got to be a Aztec version of that name. Okay.
Is this the Joker? Is this what?
It's Cortez. He says it's Cortez.
What does that mean?
Just here. Let's watch. Catwoman.
Is it? Oh my god!
I think it's Catwoman.
Then is that Joker?
Find that bat.
Cortez becomes
Two-Face. It's Two-Face.
What?
It's Two-Face.
I should not be laughing. I'm trying to okay.
Oh,
and there's
no.
Joker.
No.
He even flips a coin, a gold coin.
Yeah.
Oh no. 40 seconds left. How we survive. Look, is it Poison Ivy? Bruce Wayne was inspired by Aztec Batman. You know, I'll tell you this though. You can look it up. There is an Aztec statue that looks like Batman. That is real. Lori, look that up and we'll show it after this. But let's keep watching the trailer. Aztec Batman. So this has to be, so it's coming to digital. And I'll say this. Here's my first complaint right here. One, I don't want to hear anyone complain ever again about cultural appropriation. Okay. This is this is so, it's the evil colonizer, it's the primitive Aztec culture. It's just, this is so loaded. It doesn't seem overly woke, but the premise is already based on that. I like alternate Batmans. I don't know. Have you ever read Gotham by Gaslight? Read that comic?
No.
It's like
no, not
that one is a really good one. It's so maybe this this might make a decent comic book. But Alan, what do you think on they're trying to shoehorn all the classic Batman characters and villains. I wonder what Robin looks like. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first, the animation's awful. It's
the animation's not that great.
It's computer animation. I'm not a Batman guy, but I can tell you that the Batman animated series, great animation on those, because they were hand drawn.
Right.
And then here it's, again, you're wondering who is, we were wondering who is Bruce, who is Joker, who is all these guys. They're just, this is not something I'm necessarily drawn to. Oh, there it is.
But this is from Aztec culture. This is a real this thing exists. And so maybe that's what inspired this. I remember seeing that image. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah. Ancient Mayan.
I mean, that's pretty
ancient Mayan sculpture. It's a sculpture that resembles Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look up. This is like there's news stories about it. It's real.
Well, maybe Batman is culturally appropriating the Aztecs.
Maybe that's what it is. Look, I think whatever. I'm just saying, you know what? Fine. Culturally appropriate whatever you want. Wear pants, do your hair, however you want, but don't complain about it. But this just doesn't look good for other reasons.
Yeah. Gary and I at the premiere were discussing the idea of Civil War Batman, where that takes place on Wayne Plantation.
Oh, that would be great.
That would be great.
Why don't they do that?
They should. They absolutely should. Bruce takes in a lover from his workers, and of course there's Dick by his side. He likes Dick.
All right, let's go to comments.
Robert Kearney for $4.99. Zootopia 2 trailer was flat. No excitement. I love the first one. Sad. I don't know. Troy Knoll became a YouTube member.
Thank you. And by the way, we're posting a ton today after the stream. I'm posting like 30 videos from Comic-Con.
There's a lot of Comic-Con videos.
Yeah, so thank you for your patience. I've needed time to recover.
And Lord Comet for 2. Good afternoon, Chris, Gore and Alan. I'm now here.
Yeah, what took you so long? We're waiting for you.
Yes. You're blowing up my notifications on X. I'll just say that. Jean Hu gifted 5 Film Threat memberships.
Thank you for that.
The Stud 2 for 2. Aztec Batman Culture Swap.
Yep. And I'm told they say it's too new. It's probably fake. But whatever.
Okay. FX Star-Lord for 2. It's like making Batman a Nazi soldier. It's World War II Batman. Pilgrim Media for 2. The Batman trailer looks like a La Raza allegory.
It might
La Raza. Torgo the White, member for 17 months. Alan, that statue thing is a 2014 statue, not Aztec. Could be fake.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's fake. I only saw the image. I never looked at it. I thought, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah, and it wasn't me who brought it up, by the way. Steve,
it was me. I brought it up.
I know, don't make it sound like I did this. Steve Z09 for 5. Chat, the Aztec have nothing on Planned Parenthood or the Biden administration or Netflixy Yahoo. Stop the moral outrage.
It's no moral outrage. I'm saying it's fine. I'm just saying I don't want to hear other people complain about that. If they're doing this, it's fine. Go ahead.
Quite frankly, no one should be complaining about cultural appropriation ever. If someone admires your culture, let them admire your culture.
Exactly. I think of God, like I love, I don't know, Mexican culture here in LA. Best tacos. They're amazing. Margaritas are great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was like if you voted for a certain candidate, you can't have tacos anymore.
Well, I had tacos yesterday.
Lower comment for 2. I thought you would be glad to see me.
I am glad. I'm saying where'd you go? Where'd you go? Other comments here.
Steve Rogers got it on merit, while Falcon got it by affirmative action. That's from Shuxy. Lord Thothy, he was a great Falcon. He's not Captain America. Steve Rogers is Cap. Yes. I will not eat the bugs. No wonder that older Power Girl cosplayer was asking me if I wanted the Kryptonite package and that it would cost extra. He's talking about the trafficking. Although the Equi, ending on a literal gut punch, 1 inch above the kick to the balls. Cybrix, let me guess, it's about snakes are just misunderstood. Exactly.
Precisely.
And which was what the first movie was about.
Yeah, exactly. Precisely. Hey, we've got a lot of stories, but let's go to this one, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
You were fortunate enough to get into the San Diego Comic-Con George Lucas panel that was Sunday morning. I was unable to make it. And this is all about his upcoming museum.
Yeah.
That's going to open. And did you find out when it's opening?
I've tried to find it. It's not even on the website. I know they're still building it.
Let's put up the website.
It's hard to miss it if you're ever down in Exposition Park.
Yeah, but the design of it looks like a spaceship, but it's a museum dedicated to story.
The narrative arts.
The narrative arts. You attended the panel. I understand you have highlights to show and commentary. So tell me about it, because I wasn't able to be there.
Just for a setup. I mean, the panel was about the museum. It was hosted by Queen Latifah, who happens to be very good friends with George and his wife. George was joined by Guillermo del Toro and by Doug Chang. And all they did was talk about the importance of why he feels the museum is important and why art is important. He said some pretty insightful things. So I pulled a couple of clips from the panel. Please don't mind the shaky camera, because I was zooming in really tight, and I'm not a professional cameraman. So let's just play a couple of these and just respond. I think he says some pretty interesting things. Whoops, sorry.
For 50 years now. And then it occurred to me that what am I going to do with it all? Because I refuse to sell it. You know, I'm not one of the typical high art collectors who buys and then you come back 5 years later and you say, what happened to that painting you bought? That was so beautiful. Well, I sold it for $10 million. I made a lot of money on it. I said, I could never do that. It's not what I think art is. I think it's more.
You get that he would never sell art for money.
About I think it's more about a connection, an emotional connection with the work, not how much it cost or what celebrity did it or whatever. It's more a personal thing. And I don't think it's anything that anybody else can tell you. That's art. That's not art. It doesn't work that way. If you have an emotional connection, then it's art. If you don't, then just move on to the next painting. And it's the idea that people can tell you what art is and talk about it. I've discovered just from my experience of making movies and things that, other people's opinions don't mean much. The only thing that really means something is what you do and what you feel about it.
Yep, that's that clip.
I like that. Let me show. I actually found the website. When I say I found it, found the website for the museum, which is lucasmuseum.org. I got on the wait list. Look at that. It looks like a starship. It literally looks like there are no right angles. There are no left angles for that matter.
Yes.
But doesn't that look like a spaceship?
Yeah, and it looks pretty amazing. I was there last year at the Natural History Museum, which is just in the background there, and it looks ominous. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's opening 2026. I'm on the wait list, so we'll see. But I, for one, can't wait. I've gone to see like Lucas collections at other museums, so I'm really looking forward to this. You have more clips, Alan. Why don't
Yeah,
you show
but
us?
to that one, what I found interesting was this idea that we talk about all the time, art and film and whatever. If you connect with it, no one can tell you you're wrong.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Let me just make sure I have this in the right.
Let's get the next clip. Why we tell stories.
Yes. No, actually, purpose of the museum.
Let's see it.
Is dedicated to the idea that stories, mythology, any kind of story that is written to affect people and to build community is extremely important to society and creating societies and creating community. Art illustrates that story, and that's the right hand of building a community. Is you need the art to make it seem real. Even back in the whether it's the Renaissance or the Stone Age, you'll always have a story that people believe it's mythology. It's not really true, but people believe it, and it binds them together with a common belief system. That common belief system is what is really important. And what we're doing here with the museum is to try to make people aware of the mythology that we live by, and at the same time, let them have an emotional experience looking at art that does tell the modern mythology. And as Doug pointed out, it's more of an exact science than people think it is, and it's a way. The art part of it is a way of making it really accessible to people and make it so they believe it.
Yep.
That's Guillermo del Toro you got there.
Yeah.
In the background.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right.
He's on
Any
the
thoughts? Or...
I just love it. Here's what I'm thinking. How long until they cancel George Lucas? He already had that one comment in some interview where he called Disney white slavers. I don't know that he was wrong completely. He wasn't off base, but he apologized for that. We saw what happened with Hulk Hogan recently. It's we want to. It saddens me how we want to destroy our modern heroes. George Lucas is a modern hero of mine. I moved to the West Coast because of George Lucas. That image from Star Wars of Luke peering at the twin sons of Tatooine pondering his future, living in Nowheresville. That's how I felt living in the suburbs of outside of Detroit and Michigan, that I wasn't going to be able to achieve my dreams at all unless I went off to this. And I heard that George Lucas went to USC Film School. I wanted to go there and then couldn't afford to go. So I went to the campus. My mom took us on a trip to California to visit my uncle. And I went to the campus when I was 17 and bought every book I could afford from the film program. I bought every book and read them. And I made a list of the books I couldn't afford to buy. Ended up buying them and reading all of them because I thought, well, if I can't afford that education, the least I can do is read the same books as the rich kids that go to the school. At the time, I remember tuition was 10 grand a semester, which seems cheap now, I guess. But
yeah, 10 grand is it's not 10 grand right now.
Yeah, let's see some more highlights, Alan. You have
all right.
two
So
more
this next
clips.
clip is a story about Norman Rockwell's Thanksgiving painting and why he has an interesting story to tell about it, and he talks about why it's important, especially as a society.
Let's see it.
People you can do it with. And one of the issues, ultimately one is family, is that most, I believe, and I think most people believe, that most families are dysfunctional. You always have somebody in there who, okay, we'll kind of live with them a little bit, but or her. But the thing about the Rockwell painting that she's talking about is that it's a group of paintings are called the Four Freedoms. One of them is the freedom from want. And what it is a painting of mom bringing in a turkey, and everybody's sitting around the table, all smiles and looking, and they're, the idea that Uncle Jim is drunk over the quarter, or Sally and Billy are going to get divorced because they're having a huge argument. All that is not mentioned. But what it does say is the modern mythology is not that the Indians fed the Pilgrims and saved them from starvation, because that would have gone away a long time ago. What it's really about is family. And people go to Thanksgiving and inevitably say, oh God, I don't want to do this again. It's going to be fights, it's going to be this, I have to deal with my dad, I have to do, it's all kind of, oh, well, I guess I've got to. Well, you've got to, because that painting tells you that family is important. It's part of what we need to keep society together, even if it's tough. And that's, a lot of the art centers around those ideas of what we believe in and how important that is to us to have a community and to be able to build off of a common belief. And that's especially together today because of the fact that the world is becoming a smaller place. There are a lot of different common beliefs out there. It used to be easy because they were far away and it was hard to get to them, interact with that. But now we're experiencing, in a lot of ways, the fact that there's a lot of different beliefs and there's a lot that aren't common. And the society cannot exist without a common belief system. And that's where illustration is vital to show you what that means in everyday life.
You hear what he said? I'm sure that's the end of that clip. It's a common belief system. That's kind of how we're kind of dealing with so much angst these days. So much. I mean, we haven't talked about it, but that Sydney Sweeney Jean ad, I've got great jeans. Sexy women were used in ads forever until recently, when you can't have let's say it, sexy white woman in an ad. And now that's a problem. I think people want to see good-looking people in ads and in movies. That is the truth. And when this is the common belief system has been broken, but I think that the people that are on the broken end of the spectrum are in the minority these days, and their voices are kind of amplified because they say stupid crap. Lucas, he's never been one. There was one interesting clip from Lucas at a classroom. He was doing interviews with kids, and he talked about some kid asked him a question. You could look up this clip about like the modern movies and racism and all that. And he said, look, I have nothing to do basically with the sequels, right? But the only racism in Star Wars was of droids. And where did that come from? The Clone Wars, where droids try to kill people from the Trade Federation who were using droids as murder bots. And clones took out the droids, and then clones had that was a whole other problem. But I'm just saying that was so clever of Lucas to think that out. Even in the first Star Wars movie, just called Star Wars, the droids walk in the cantina. We don't serve their kind here. That's racism against droids. It's very smart. And anyways.
I also think, to his point, we've talked about it when we first started doing this live stream, but there's this concerted effort to divide us. And he's saying that the thing that brings us together as a people, as humans, is this idea of family. That we have this common understanding, these common stories that we tell each other. That's why stories can go well beyond culture, because it speaks to us as people, of the experiences we have, and and to some degree that's what this museum's about, is to celebrate that the stories we've told each other, which is going to be coming up in our final clip.
Let's take a look at the final clip, Alan.
Okay.
Which really comes from a time when I was 5 or 6 years old, and my mom would put me to bed, and I asked her a question, and I said, Mom, if there's only one God, why are there so many different religions? And she really couldn't answer that. But I've spent the rest of my life trying to answer that, and I come to the conclusion that I believe in God, but I have no idea what God is, and I don't think anybody does, because that's the thing where a very, very human nature is that when you're born, the baseline is fear. And as you go through life, you're curious about things, but you're especially curious about things you don't understand, and therefore that's a threat to you. And as a result, you make up stories to make it feel good. Well, it goes dark periodically. Why does it? What happens to the sun? If it doesn't get day, it's just night. What happens if, and back in the Greek times, they said, well, you got Apollo is a god, and he has a chariot, it's on fire, and when it goes over, flies over, it's all daytime. At night, it's dark. Oh, I feel better now. And it's true. It's stories that make you feel connected to other people, but it also gets rid of some of the problems you have about the fact that you have to know everything. And of course, one of the real problems we have is humans think they know everything, even though they don't know anything.
Yeah, it's interesting that what he says here is that the baseline is fear. We don't know what's happening in this world, and it's these stories. And in another part of this panel, he talks about science being, stories, not being hard truths. For example, there's this disease that's killing people. Let's stay in the house because that's the story we're being told. And let's take this magical medicine, and it won't affect us. Life is just a series of just trying to figure things out, trying to figure the mysteries of how the world works and what's happening. And that's and again, that's what this museum is all about, is this collection of stories we've told. And yeah, it involves Superman, Batman, it involves Betty Boop and Charlie Brown. That's how we as a society, as the human race, have come together to try to explain what's going on in this world.
And I remember grappling with that very question that Lucas brought up. I had a friend who was Jewish. I had a friend who was Seventh-day Adventist church. I had friends that were Catholic. And I loved all my friends. We played, neighborhood games, tag and whatever. We ran through the sprinkler. We, sold lemonade. We rode our bikes, but they were different religions. And it bothered me. I remember and I do also, we've talked about it, I believe in some higher power, but but the separation of religions always concerned me as like an 8-year-old. I remember questioning that. So this is it's a I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
This is
again, it's the shared experience. I mean, this is what bothers me about what's happening in the world today. Again, there's concerted efforts to divide us.
Oh, if you could remove that, Alan.
Yeah.
Remove it from the screen.
Yeah, hold on. Okay.
There we go. That's okay. I just want people to see, if you're joining late, this is the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art, opening in 2026. lucasmuseum.org is the website to go.
Yeah, and if you want to know the exact location, it's at Exposition Park, which is by USC. The Natural History Museum is there. It's Museum of Science and Industry, and the Coliseum where the 1984 Olympics took place.
Yeah, and it does look like a spaceship. It looks very modern. Sorry,
I
Alan,
like that
I interrupted you.
On top of it.
What's that?
I like that there's a garden on top of it.
No, I love it. I love it. I interrupted you. You were about to say it. My apologies.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that again, there are efforts to divide us when the reality is, that's how it all is going to end if we continue to go down this road.
Let's go to comments, and we have a lot of other news stories. You'll be shocked. And I have a special video treat at the end of the show. So there you go.
All right, from Napsky for 20. I still like Doomsday to start having Mackie, Cap, and Falcon show up to fight Hydra Cap, who is stealing a large shipment of vibranium. Hydro Cap kills them both. Bucky arrives and they fight like Winter Soldier all over again.
I like what who is it? God, I'm forgetting who was it that pitched what the multiverse Avengers movie should be, and it should be the core members of the Avengers fighting amongst themselves, different versions of themselves. That's it. Not this cast of 50 different characters, just good Iron Man, bad Iron Man, good Cap, bad Cap, Hulk versus Hulk, or various versions. I like that idea better.
And we hardly know these characters. They had the one movie each. Right. Natalie 3213 for $24.99 Canadian. Send us a super sticker.
That's a generous super sticker. Thank you, Natalie.
Lord Common for 2. I believe in the higher power 2 of Grayskull.
Thank you, Lord Comet. I expect no less.
Lord Shax, I hate division. It's not good at math like Alan is.
We'll see.
Go party time. He can't be canceled. He doesn't spend any time online, and his wife manages everything. She wouldn't let it happen. LOL.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely not out there saying dumb things by mistake. The Stud Comic. There will be a wing of the museum dedicated to Jar Jar Binks.
And by the way, we have all said dumb things. All of us.
Yes.
Have said dumb things at some point or another. We've all done it. Blowing a dog. All done it. Alan, even you've done it.
But that second beaver was a nice one.
I like all the beavers. Alan, I like all the beavers.
Yes. I like look, if there's a beaver there, I'm for it. What? I don't even remember. I can't imagine an instance that clip took place.
Hey, and I got to thank Atomic Lori keeping us honest. That ancient Mayan sculpture is fake. It's from it might be 2014. It's a piece of art. So that's fake. But I think that had something to do with inspiring that story. But it's fake. But I like the art. This is from Snopes. Debunked it. Fact check. It's from 2014.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lori.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
There's that one instance where the internet fooled us.
Yeah, that one time.
Yeah, one time.
A lot more stories here. And let's get, I know we may be your number one source for Pedro Pascal news. We just are. Pedro Pascal clarifies Reed does not lead the Avengers in Doomsday. An article from Entertainment Weekly about this. Alan, I know you have notes.
Yes.
Give me the story.
All right. Well, Pedro Pascal is setting the record straight after speculation ran wild that his Reed Richards would lead the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. The confusion began when Fantastic Four First Steps director Matt Shakman spoke with Variety about casting Pascal as the iconic Mr. Fantastic. Shakman explained he goes from being the nerdy scientist to the guy who's leading the Avengers. Wow, that's not clear. Which many fans took as confirmation that Pascal's Reed would be the Avengers' new leader. But Pascal, in an interview with Entertainment Weekly, clarified that Shakman was referencing the comics, not the upcoming film. Matt was talking about Reed Richards that within the comics of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, are brought into the Avengers, and Reed is commissioned to lead a mission, Pascal said. But that is different than what we're doing. So I think what Matt had said about Reed and the comics have been taken out of context. So while Pascal's Reed Richards may be stretching across the multiverse, don't expect him to stretch into an Avengers leadership role just yet.
Well, look, I think that Reed will play a part, obviously, because Dr. Doom, Dr. Doom is the main nemesis of the Fantastic Four. So, and one of the greatest villains in the Marvel universe. So Reed will play a big part. I don't, look, I've seen the Fantastic Four once. I do want to see it again before it leaves theaters. I don't think that Pedro ruined the film. I don't think he made it better. That's what I'll say. But I do think Pedro fatigue is real. Alan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, let's also be real that we all know that the Avengers Doomsday script isn't even finished yet.
Right. Well, no, that's not true. There's a script, but they have the screenwriter on the set to plus. What did they use the term? It was like to
Plussing.
Plussing. They plus the script.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, there's still time. That's all I'm saying. There's still time for him to become the leader of the Avengers.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, Judd Apatow, who makes 9-hour comedies, lets people riff and they do one-line reading. They have the script. Then they have people who will just riff and do many different takes. I think it means as comedies end up being too long, but it's not unprecedented. They do a thing where they bring in voice actors that will do the same thing, comedians that will just add jokes of like, they'll have a crowd in some cartoon and you'll hear something random someone say that's just a comedian saying, here be this would be funny right here. And so it's kind of a version of that. So look, if it ends up being a good movie because of that, great. Not always the case. So
yeah. A lot of times I think these interviews are like reading the Bible, where someone will say a line and then you have to dissect it word by word and find the meaning, the true meaning from within it. I believe we've gotten to that point with fan interviews, with actor interviews.
Well, yeah, it's almost like, it's like, oh, let's read the tea leaves of what this person meant by this.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes it's a bit much.
Yeah. Because I want to know what Pedro said in the original Hebrew. So there you go.
You mean Jor-El?
Jor-El.
Sure.
All right. Next story.
Hey, this story is interesting. 5 reasons why Marvel and DC movies no longer dominate. We will not see a $1 billion superhero movie. I think pretty clearly. Thunderbolts, Captain America, Brave New World, Superman, Fantastic Four. None of those movies will make $1 billion. Used to be, you could put out anything. Like Captain Marvel made $1 billion. And then the second movie came out and made almost 200 million. That says something. Well, an article here, let me bring this up on screen. I know you have the notes, Alan.
Do I?
These are 5 reasons why. This is from The Direct. Okay. 5 reasons why Marvel and DC movies no longer dominate the box office in 2025. We just look, no superhero film will be $1 billion. Probably not even 900 million at this point. But Alan, give the notes for the story.
Yeah, I'll just go to the points here. Number 1 is superhero fatigue and oversaturation. With 37 MCU films and multiple reboots of DC, viewers are just no longer excited just because a character wears a cape. Audiences are experiencing unprecedented genre fatigue. Even big names and familiar faces like Dwayne Johnson in Black Adam or the major MCU players in the Marvels, which they don't even bother to list out, couldn't save recent films from underwhelming results. The sheer volume has created a saturation point where spectacle alone isn't enough. That's 1. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. So that was point 1.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Point 2. The international audiences want more than just spectacle. The global market, once a safety net, is now unprofitable. Films like The Marvels and The Flash flopped internationally despite heavy promotion. International markets are no longer content with spectacle alone. They demand culturally relevant storytelling. Movies built on American comic book mythology don't resonate as well as overseas unless they offer universal themes or strong emotional arcs.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, superhero movies used to be about something. Star Trek movies used to be about something. They're about something else beneath the surface, something in the zeitgeist. And somehow the zeitgeist is not feeling the superhero movies. Third point.
I just want to say to that, if you think about Avengers Endgame, the theme was, ultimately it was Tony Stark's sacrifice for the sake of the world.
Right.
Those are themes that the world, the international audiences, everyone can get behind versus themes of finding out who you are.
Right.
All right, here we go. 3, streaming has raised the bar for theatrical releases. While quality superhero content available at home like WandaVision, Peacemaker, and the Batman spinoffs, theaters must now offer something truly cinematic. Their theatrical experience must offer something truly special to justify the trip to the theaters. Films like Thunderbolts and Eternals may have worked better as streaming despite their focus on characters. They lack the scale and spectacle that justify a theater ticket.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when, there's so much on streaming, I feel like I'm not caught up. It's hard because you and I see so many movies. It's hard for you and I to literally keep up with all the different series. Although Penguin, one of the best series. It's one of the best. It was great. That turned out to be a surprise. The Disney Plus series have been a disappointment.
Yeah.
WandaVision maybe being at least the first few episodes being among the best, but everything else from Disney Plus has been forgettable. I have not watched Peacemaker and not sure that I want to after going to the panel.
Mhm.
I went to the Peacemaker panel. I was not impressed.
Yeah. It's on the members channel, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm posting a lot for members and
Yeah. But how many times this year have you described a movie by saying this should have been on streaming?
Yes, I know, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. Theaters, if to watch a movie in the theaters, there has to be a theatrical experience behind it. And I believe that's where the youth are at, where the only reason they would go to a movie theater is to see something like Superman or Fantastic Four, something that's elevated versus the Marvels and other films you see at the theaters. You're shelling out a lot of cash. Same
That's
reason
right.
you go to the reason you go to theater versus again watching stuff at home. All right, number 4, quality storytelling now matters more than brand recognition. The most significant factor in superhero box office success has become the quality of storytelling rather than brand recognitions. Films that focus on emotional payoff and narrative closure, like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, are rewarded. Studios can no longer rely on familiar faces and fan service alone.
All right. Yeah, it's like, look,
Mhm.
Deadpool and Wolverine, while it was fun to see all the cameos and stuff, is that it? Is there nothing more? And I expect Doomsday to be, we already know that it's a cameo fest based on the cast. The insane, is it with like 40, 50 members of the cast? I have it here somewhere. It's insane. It's insane. I'll go to it. Let's go right here. This is the cast of Avengers Doomsday that we know about. The names are too small to see. And there's people I really don't care about. There's Namor. Look at this list. These are the ones we know about publicly. And there'll be a lot more. Anyways, Alan, if you would continue the last point.
Last one, number 5. Reboots and fresh takes are outperforming franchise continuations. Films that reinvent characters like Batman and Superman are thriving because they offer a new angle without franchise baggage. Audiences are gravitating toward fresh interpretations of established characters rather than continuations of existing storylines. By contrast, films tied to ongoing continuities like Quantumania or Black Adam feel weighed down by the universe obligations and setup of future projects.
I think these are good points. I mean, I think you could maybe do 10 reasons, but I think a lot of it is like minor characters that people don't care about, using characters from the comics that failed in the comics and giving them their own movies
or TV
series is not a winning strategy. What do you think?
No, absolutely. I remember when they announced Shang-Chi. As much as I like that movie, they're saying Shang-Chi is coming to the MCU. And I remember, I read a Shang-Chi comic book back in the 70s.
Yeah, same.
I wasn't that impressed with it, which is why I never bought another Shang-Chi comic book. And yet they're making a movie about him. And I'm like, this is going to suck.
It was a ripoff of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It's right. I love Bruce Lee. Just bring Bruce Lee into the MCU.
Yeah. Again, the point I'm making there is there was no reason. It wasn't a popular comic book. At least when I was collecting comic books.
Hey, I got to run. You're going to read comments. Well, I'll take a quick break. I'll be right back. Start from the top.
Okay. Starting from the top. Okay, here we go. From Lord Comment for 2. Well, all the beavers give a damn to Chris Gore. Yes, nice beaver. C Sign 69. Reed never led the Avengers. Tell me you don't know shit about comics without telling me you don't know shit about comics. Yeah, I fail to think of the comic book storyline where Reed was leading the Avengers. And let's just say he didn't lead the Fantastic Four in the movie either. ADLS 24. Isn't Doom supposed to be that contemporary of Reed, not a decade older? Also, Pedro is 50. Thankfully, his career is in his latter half. Yeah, we talked about it. I think that's why Pedro is in everything, because he knows his shelf life is limited. So grab the cash now. Super Frandaman for €2.50. Why was there no nooner today, Chris? Is Gary sick? No, Gary is traveling. We hung out with Gary on Monday night, and he's traveling back to Texas right now. So that's why there's no nooner. From my understanding, it's a very long trip. Indiana Jake, there isn't genre fatigue. There's bad movie and unpopular character fatigue. And I think leaning into the genre is why they're making bad movies. Because, yeah. I know. That's me and my brain fart. It's like I had a good point, and then I lost it. And
that's never happened to me.
Yeah, I know. C sign. But it's like, because you think that superhero movies are going to make you a lot of money, you're not putting the effort into it. And that's why you're getting bad movies out of it. And that's why we're getting tired of it. Because the formula that was cracked a long time ago, they lost the formula. C969, it's not rocket science, and there's there's only two reasons: the insertion of identity politics and shit writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Patrick Lemire, Captain Marvel had so many empty theaters, I will never believe there was a real number. 1 billion packed theaters for weeks. He's questioning the final box office. The Brujo for $5 Australian. Now Marvel has figured out plussing for the scripts. How long until they figure out minusing or divisioning or multiplying?
I think minusing was what they did with Fantastic Four. They cut that movie down.
Mm-hmm. Royston Bailey for 10, whatever that symbol is. Film shouldn't cost $400 million to produce or market. Yes. Lord Comet for 5. Reason Comet. They didn't appeal to the target audience and the people who actually have the money. Pedro's legitly overused. That's my opinion.
Yep, I agree.
Matthew Hammond, remember for 16 months. War of the Worlds felt like a pandemic film. That did not feel like a War of the Worlds movie. That last trailer.
War of the Worlds 2025?
Yeah, you saw the trailer, didn't you?
No.
Okay. I guess we have something to do on Friday then.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Okay. Yeah, let's put it on the list for Friday. Yeah, it came out during Comic-Con.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
There's a lot I saw, a lot I didn't see.
Okay. Pilgrim Media.
Let's look it up.
Lefty producers, or Pilgrim for 2, lefty producers, and bad writing is the thing. Yeah, people don't know how to write anymore. Multi-proven for $9.99. Iron Man, Captain America, Gotchians, and more were all B or C tier characters before the MCU gave them new life. Why does Shang-Chi or other obscure characters can't have the same treatment? Yeah, why was Shang-Chi chosen from a character that was created back in the 70s and never had a successful run? Lord Comet for 2. Sounds like a pandemic. Geek True 64, member for 27 months. What was your favorite thing at San Diego Comic-Con this year? Galactus was my favorite thing.
2 things. Galactus cosplay, which I posted. That's many videos of that. Yeah. And Project Hail Mary. That is my #1 movie for next year. I got the book, started reading it. I'm 3 chapters in, hooked. I cannot wait for it. I was in the room, and I'm posting the panel today for members. I'm sure you can find it somewhere else, but there's a lot of other videos we're posting exclusive for members. But find that panel, watch it. I have all the video of it. They were really strict about cameras not being in the room, not filming, because I saw 10 minutes of the movie and it was great. #1 movie I can't wait to see until next year.
Yeah. I'll say my favorite thing really was my daughter, after 2 days, just saying this was the best con she's been to.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was the best con I've been to I was in Hall H more than I usually am. I had a good balance of Hall H, the floor and things surrounding. Got to hang out with friends in the hotel bars. I didn't do a lot of the parties. That's probably why. The parties are not fun.
Well, even with showing up early and not being able to do the thing, or the fact that a exclusive she wanted was sold out, she still found fun there. She had a good time.
A few more comments from
she got to hang out with Dad. Come on. The Introspect really, the audience that loves Fast and Furious and all the Jurassic World movies want something deeper than spectacle. Yes.
I do. I do think that audiences do. When you see Project Hail Mary, you'll get what I mean. That movie is about more than outer space spectacle.
Well, it's like the sequels. I think ultimately fans realized they were being duped.
Yeah.
Patrick Lemire, here's a novel idea. Forget the foreign box office. Ironically, you might do better overseas.
I agree with that. Make movies for America. You know? And just don't care what the rest of the world thinks. People look, I love French films. I like British movies. I like Korean films and TV shows. Be true to your identity, not try to please everyone. That ends up being nothing. It ends up being a Christmas fruitcake. Try to be everything to everybody. That's not great.
All things, all men, yes. Matthew Hammond for 2. War of the Worlds on Prime is a streaming movie. Oh my God, it's not out yet, is it?
We'll look at the trailer Friday.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. ADLS24, the entire world wants to live the American dream. The entire world wants to live the American dream, whether they realize it or not. Hollywood has only been selling an intersectional nightmare for nearly a decade. Agreed. Yeah, ask people who are not Americans what they think about Americans, and you'd be surprised by what they say.
Alan, something concerns me, and that is AI. We've talked about it a lot on the show. It's going to change the movie business. Maybe in some ways for the better. Independent creators will be able to do things. Studios will be able to save money, but it's going to hurt the business in a lot of ways. It's a double-edged sword. Now, I know you're a fan of musicals.
Yes.
And you probably love the film The Wizard of Oz.
Yes, it has very good songs in it. I love it.
Well, coming to the Sphere in Las Vegas is a reimagining of The Wizard of Oz in a way that I could find an article that details it. It's better to watch this video. Might get hit with this, but I want to play it for you. This is from CBS Sunday Morning News, which is a show I don't watch because I don't watch CBS or network TV, but I'm going to scrub through this. I need you to see what's about to happen to all the classic movies. It involves AI and turning films into more of an experience, something of a ride. And this is a first crack at. Watch this. We'll scrub through. It's 8 minutes. So strap in.
Decades, we've seen it depicted in books, on screens large and small, even on stage. Now, Dorothy and Friends are getting a high-tech new look. With Ben Mankiewicz, we're off to see the wizard, as you've never seen him before.
You've likely been off to see the Wizard of Oz, but never like this. On a screen larger than 4 football fields, sound from 167,000 speakers, and in 16K, the highest quality resolution ever for a film.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's an immersive experience, putting the audience inside the movie, including the twister that carries Dorothy from the Heartland to Munchkinland.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
No, Dorothy, You're in Vegas now, reimagined at Sphere, the enormous orb-shaped venue just off the Strip.
How many people you got more or less working on this?
Oh, probably 2,000.
Yeah.
Be a long credits list afterwards.
It's important to see what went into this process. They've not only remixed the movie, they've added parts to the movie that didn't exist off screen to make it being this enveloping. It's bigger than IMAX. It's on a sphere in 16K. Wait till they get to it.
Jim Dolan, best known as the owner of the New York Knicks and Rangers, is Sphere's creator and its CEO.
You've never seen Judy Garland like this before. You've never seen Ray Bolger dance like this. And the connection between the audience and the performance, right, is what I'm really...
Do you see how much they've created out of thin air that wasn't on? By the way, Wizard of Oz was shot in 4:3.
Right.
Not widescreen. Yeah, that's how all classic movies were 4:3, including Gone with the Wind. Okay. So let's continue.
Really looking.
Doesn't hurt you?
Oh, no, I just keep picking it up and putting it back in again.
Our standard on this was not to modify the film at all, but to try and bring you into the film as if you were in the studio when it was shot. That's kind of what you're going to see.
When Dolan and his collaborator, producer Jane Rosenthal, decided to bring a classic film to Sphere, they agreed on, according to the Library of Congress, the most watched movie of all time.
Everybody loves it, no matter how old you are, and or how young it makes you feel. And it was also a movie that pushed itself in terms of its technology and its vision of what it could do.
By the way, Wizard of Oz was a bomb. When it came out, originally it failed because the studio didn't know how to market it. And Wizard of Oz failed in first release.
Even with Judy Garland starring.
Yes, it was a big bomb at the time. It became big again when it was aired on television. And then it became an annual event to show the movie. That's how Wizard of Oz became popular, not at the movies. Gone with the Wind was much more popular. So let's continue. I have several points to make. I want to hear what you have to say, Alan.
Yeah.
So here we go.
For the industry. The obstacle for us wasn't that we were going to take something that we loved, that was a classic, legendary film that we both love. It was, how are you going to put it on a screen this wide? And like, how are you going to do that when you have a small, traditional frame?
Right. It was in a box.
It was in a box.
Right.
And it was also a box office failure when released in 1939. In 1956, its fortunes changed when CBS aired it on
Yeah, I just told you all this, but keep watching.
TV.
Yeah, it was an annual event.
Generations have now watched it at least once a year. But turning that into this requires state-of-the-art technology, including artificial intelligence.
We wanted to make sure we captured the original details.
Ravi Rajamani is managing director of AI for Google Cloud.
We built a custom-built an AI model that understood how Judy Garland looks and then was able to generate the super resolution images of that.
So a grainy close-up of Dorothy becomes richly detailed. And then, through a process called outpainting, though it seems like magic, we see the rest of the Scarecrow, the Yellow Brick Road, and the Mountains of Oz.
Now, see, I have an app on my phone that can make me better looking. And I've pressed to the highest level to touch up my appearance on StreamYard.
Yeah, StreamYard.
As I'm sure you have as well.
Yep.
But this thing where you see the frame and none of that existed, that's kind of like if you've seen a thing called Screen X. Have you seen that, Alan?
Yes, I have.
I saw Dune Part 1 and Part 2 in Screen X. I saw Star Trek Beyond in Screen X. It's not that great. It's kind of lame if you ask me. This seems better use of that, But imagine this was originally 4:3. Like imagine a square in the center. That's what we saw. They faked all the. You'll see you'll see the lengths they went to make this happen. Watch.
This is the original movie, and you can see the camera panning back and forth. And then when we get to Uncle Henry's performance, you can see how we create all the variations here.
Ben Grossman is the visual effects supervisor.
In the original, nobody saw him walk over.
Nobody saw him walk over.
But on a screen this wide, Dorothy's Uncle Henry needed to stay in the picture. So AI created a brand new performance out of actor Charlie Grapewine.
So you can see that Uncle Henry's walking over and rejoining the original cinematography. Those are performances that were prompted based on the context of the script and what the director has done and what their performances would be.
That looks scary good. This is how far this can go. Okay. This is coming. And what other movies will they do this to? I guarantee Star Wars. Think of what are the iconic classic movies they could do this to? Let's
Apparently
finish.
any MGM movie so far.
Well, yeah.
It's easy to be dazzled by
That looks like a completely different performance. Anyways, here we go.
all this advanced technology. But there's an old-fashioned low-tech component to this Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, they make it full 40X. They're blowing you in a tornado.
They're what?
Watch. They're blowing you
Okay.
in a tornado.
Yeah, okay, got it.
AI is not your business.
We work in the physical world here. Yeah, we are here to ensure that everybody gets a great experience of feeling like they're in the Wizard of Oz, and that includes sight, touch, sound, and smell.
Those are 4D effects. Glenn Derry is the Oscar-winning technical wizard tasked with having audiences feel Dorothy and Toto's journey to Oz.
How do you make the tornado? How do you make the audience feel the tornado?
Yeah, well, it starts with a base layers, right? So we do it in layers, kind of like an orchestration, right? We have different wind effects we're going to bring in. We're going to bring in different fog effects. We're going to bring in wind and leaves and different kinds of particulate in the atmosphere. And you kind of layer it layer by layer. So we have these big devices that are behind us called the GMIPs. They're kind of our floor base layer of wind. Now you can definitely feel the seeds of the wind. Yeah, definitely feel the wind now. Yeah. And then we add to that giant fans, and it all kind of layers and layers and layers, and then eventually you get this lovely vortex of wind. And then we're going to continue to build upon that until we land in Oz. We really want the audience to feel like they're there. We want them to feel the magic of being in a place that they cannot be. And I want them to be there with all their friends and family.
Speaking of family.
So it always took her back to being a child and having that as her first starring role alone, and to know that everybody took care of her.
Lorna Luft, Judy Garland's daughter, says her mom would approve.
And I think that
her mom would approve. They're looking for her stamp of approval on this because people will object. I mean, I'm watching this news segment and thinking, like, part of me is this is wrong to do this to a classic. And then part of me is like, I don't want to see it. I don't know what you think, Alan.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
What I think,
like a minute left.
Yeah, I'm mixed leaning toward I don't like this.
Okay.
You're not watching the movie. I feel like I think they're transforming it into a stage play in a way.
It's like what Vegas does to everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
there's no cinema in this. You know, scenes were shot to, you know, scene composition. You know, you're not in a room with people talking. You know, the camera is in certain angles to give off certain feelings and emotions to propel the story, and you've completely removed it with this. Now all the set action is in the center. The camera. I'm pretty sure the camera doesn't move a whole lot while this is going on.
Yeah.
It's not cinema. It's an experience. It's a Vegas experience.
It's a ride, not a movie.
Yep. She would really think how wonderful that that this is happening. And I'm sure that she would love the audience reaction.
That's funny. Wasn't he pointing the other way?
Look at that screen. It looks kind of fake.
Yeah, it looks like they put her head in front of a background. Like
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's 16K, and they created so much of the screen doesn't exist. They added based on what's on the screen. Let's.
Yeah.
Of course, people do go both ways.
Why, you did say something, didn't you?
See that?
This Wizard of Oz opens August 28th. Jim Dolan and Jane Rosenthal are clicking their heels, hoping the reaction meets the effort.
What do you want people to take away from this when they see the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere?
There's no place like home.
Yeah.
There's no actress like Judy Garland and that performance.
Well, look, I love that, but that. Okay.
A performance Lorna Luft hopes exposes new fans to her mother's singular talent.
All right, that's it. It's August 28th. It's coming. I have the website.
It's starts at $100.
It's $100 for tickets.
Well, 104 is the bottom price.
That's the bottom price. Anyways, the website is thesphere.com. And yeah, you can buy tickets. It takes you to a different website. Yeah, it's $100. So it's like a concert. Wow, it's playing for a while. So I don't know. I'm curious how this will do. I'm really curious. So Alan,
I'm curious too.
okay,
I mean,
we'll go to comments. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, not spending $100 on it. I think the thing that always comes to my mind as I was watching that was the arrogance of man to say that we can improve upon the Wizard of Oz.
Right.
And I think that's dangerous. Just because you been given permission doesn't mean you necessarily should do this. But I can't imagine that this is the future of cinema. I believe that this is an experience.
Alan, this is the future of cinema. What are we doing? Wait, look at the way movies like premium theaters like IMAX, Dolby Digital. They've even introduced what is it? XL is a new screen that AMC has introduced. The future is spectacle. You know why? Fewer and fewer people are going to the movies. Put the numbers aside. Numbers are all BS because of inflation. That's why the number one movie, it's bigger than this movie. It's BS. The way they report box office is a lie.
Yeah.
It should be all about number of people who saw your movie, admissions.
Tickets sold.
It's one of the only things the French get right because they count admissions, not dollars, because dollars change over time with inflation. So I don't know. I'm mixed because out of morbid curiosity, I want to see this, and I'll probably hate it.
Yeah, maybe there are press screenings and we can go.
You know what, Alan? Let's go to Vegas and we'll see it, and we will give you our honest review.
Yeah, because we have nothing but great experiences when we go to Vegas.
Yes, nothing. Yeah, we do.
Nothing bad ever happens in Vegas.
Let's go to comments here.
All right, from Spade, maybe they can play everybody sing when Judy Garland did blackface. LOL.
Oh no.
Royston Bailey for 6. All AI videos look like S.
Yep.
ADL is 24. I prefer to watch films instead of getting stuck in the middle of one. Yeah. Funny Pictures Comics. Jaws at the Sphere. Yes. There you go.
Now, Jaws, that might be pretty cool.
Yeah. They'll bring out fire hoses. T82306. Novelty nonsense like 3D movies. Yeah. And at $100.
3D movies. Yeah. Yeah. 3D movies are not. I mean, they still do it, but
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I saw Superman in 3D. Spa Zoc. Lawrence Arabia on this. Yeah. Oh, Ben-Hur in the great Ten Commandments. Red Moon Lit 99. AI is supporting the film, extending the content. Looks like a good application. I'd go to a showing of Twister if I could be in the Twister. 4DX. That's the best way to do that one.
Yeah.
Christopher Moonlight Productions. So my question is this damaging to the classic or Wicked? Maybe this will help a new generation rediscover the movie. It's not like we all have spheres at home or it deletes the original.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm really curious. I want to see, what does this do? So that's, I mean,
to me, it destroys the art of cinematography. Jerry D. Stills, Panzer, remember for 1 month. Hail film threat from the Sith Lord poet. Sir Chris Gore, do you still have your Infinity Gauntlet ring? I love mine. Hail Alan.
Yes, I have. Of course, I've got a couple of those rings. Glad you still have it.
Yes. Pilgrim Media for 2. I'm fascinated by hot AI lady YouTube videos.
I've not seen those. My algorithm only finds like nerd stuff.
Really? Bill S. Preston Esquire. Similarly, It's a Wonderful Life only became a classic because of lapsed copyright, so it played every year.
Yeah.
And also from we read this one.
Oh yeah, we read that. Okay, cool. Hey, I have a treat to end the show. I have a treat. Alan, you know that I always talk about safety at film.
Mm-hmm. That's all you're about.
I go on and on about safety at Film Threat. And, it's important. It's important for us to be safe, not only at conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, where we learned something today we, didn't even know about Comic-Con, that there's trafficking at Comic-Con. Safety matters. I like to be safe when I'm doing this show. I like to be safe when I'm doing this, going to cons.
Yeah, your background screams safety.
Yeah, it doesn't, because stuff's falling everywhere. I'm doing a major cleanup of this room. I'm about to do that, why it's important to go to the Found Footage Fest channel and watch this video. It only takes a second.
Whoa.
This is great. It only takes a second to be safe.
Finish him.
Oh, my jeans. That's a perfect video to end on there. Check out the Found Footage Fest channel. Love those guys. And that's gonna wrap it up for us today. We will be back Friday with reviews of a ton of movies that open Friday. You know about the Naked Gun. There are a lot more movies opening, and we'll have them. Thank you for hanging out with us. Check out shop.filmthreat.com. make sure to check out. We've got our new collection here, the Spirit of Halloween collection. It's all Halloween inspired and horror inspired t-shirts. And look, we've got, this is Alan. I did not know you had a son.
There he is.
Yeah,
Little
that's
Al
great.
Jr.
Look at that.
Mhm.
He's an intern at Film Threat.
Yep.
And that's great. It's alive. I want that one.
I know. And
I
he
want
brings
that
this honor to the family.
There you go. So join us Friday. Thanks to our mod, Lord Thoth, MK Solid, Atomic Lori, Glenn Nuccio. And thanks to you, Alan, for finding the right moment to embarrass me yet again on the show.
That's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. That's it for us. So join us this Friday for another episode. And well, I don't know. You know what to do.
And Alan, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, let's get out of here.